All right. All right, for the warm-up, as far as the warm-up goes, we're gonna start from the toes, work our way up the body, okay? For those of you who've been with me for the last couple of years, obviously you know what CARs are, okay? It's controlled articular rotations, setting your joints in ranges of motions that you obviously own in hopes that we create new windows of opportunity to strengthen that as well. So, again, starting at the toes, what I'm gonna ask you guys to do for the warm-up, I'm gonna ask you to keep the 4 digits on the outside and only lift the 4 digits on the outside staying down as you elevate the big toe. So go ahead, Kev. Very nice job making sure that his weight is sitting in his hips, his abs, and primarily in the lead heel, okay? Once you start letting your weight shift behind your body, it's gonna be almost easier to get the toes to lift, but it's not gonna happen from control, it's gonna happen from leverage, right? So let's get 10 reps with the big toe going up and down. Let's call that 10, awesome. Keep the big toe down once you're done with that and lift the other 4 up. Perfect, again, solidifying that tension to the heel, arch, and big toe so everything else can actively get up. Good, and let's call that 10. Awesome. All right, Kevin, I'm gonna have you do a minute. You're gonna sit back down. Let's get into your ankles. And the way we're gonna set him up for his ankles is he's gonna hug the top of his shin with one arm and the bottom of his shin with the other hand. What that does is it prevents any extra movement happening in the knee and more importantly in the hip, okay? This allows us to really channel our focus into the ankle. So what I'm gonna have him do is draw the biggest circle he can with his big toe leading the way. Let's go ahead and go down, Kev, to the turf. Lot of flexion, making those toes kind of roll over the foot. From there, let's go ahead and go clockwise. You're gonna follow my hand. At a certain point, your toes will start to dictate the motion and elevate with extension, go across the shin, reaching back down to the turf with that flexion again, and coming almost like you're brushing across the floor. Back up, I'm gonna have Kev do about 2 more reps. I think I have written 5 each direction, maybe even 10 each direction for you guys. Okay, but for now, I'm just giving you an idea of what I want to be done. Movement only occurring in the ankle. Rest of the body is focused on staying still and not involving itself in the motion. All right, so obviously we did one direction. Let's go the opposite way real quick. Just give them a quick glimpse. Toes go up, toes reach down. That's perfect motion right there. Nothing's moving, he's getting that job done really well. Awesome. Cool. All right, you're gonna let that foot relax. Okay, from there, we're gonna go ahead and channel into the next joint of importance, which is the knee. Okay, as you know, it's very important to tend to this knee so it doesn't get hurt throughout the season or even before the season. All right, so letting it be used to certain pressures and certain forces that you're gonna apply on the field beforehand is gonna set you up for a good future. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you put your right leg in a headlock, moving that right arm under the leg and putting that left hand, let's put it on that kneecap. And the reason I'm gonna have you put on that kneecap is you can actually feel, when we go through rotation, you can actually feel the shin and maybe even the kneecap and patella finding traction, okay, and you can feel that movement occur. If it feels frozen, you got a lot of work to do, okay? Don't be scared, this is what it's set up for. I'm giving you guys all the tools you need. So, with that being said, I want your calf pushing a good amount of pressure into the right arm, or whatever arm is under the knee. From there, I'm gonna have you lift your toes up to your shin, reaching for my hand. Excellent, let's go ahead and turn out like you're reaching for my left knee. Perfect, from this position, nothing is being utilized but the knee and the ankle. The hip is staying pretty firm in the ground. He's gonna go ahead and elevate the inner foot, almost as if he's doing an instep pass to the ceiling. So he gets to a point where his hamstring says no more. From there, keeping a lot of tension, still pushing into that bottom arm, you're gonna rotate the toes the opposite way, flexing the toes across. From there, everything is locked, you're gonna come back down. Once your calf touches that form again, you're then going to return to the start position, elevating the toes up and reaching across the side of the leg here to that start position again. Elevate as high as you can, turn the foot, and come back down. Perfect with the knee there, Kev. Great job. All right, so what we'll have him do now is we're going to stand up and we're going to get into our hip cars. So go ahead and stand up there, Kev. Now let's have you back up just a smidge. Perfect. Okay, what I'm going to have you do in a minute is you're going to reach your arms across the room, and I'm going to allow you to have a natural bend in your elbow. The reason I'm having him do that is because if your arms stay locked out, you're probably going to bring your chest and your spine with it, which means your hip car is going to be a floating motion with zero control. It's just using, again, compression and leverage. So, a little bit natural bend in the elbows. Boom, allows our abs and our traps to be a little bit more involved. I'm going to have you go ahead and make sure that your left heel is very strong. Bring your right knee up to my hand. Go ahead and open that knee until you get to a point where you feel stuck. From that position, imagine you're placing pressure into my hand to elevate this foot up. Great job, and you're going to track that heel back and bring that knee towards that standing leg and let the foot relax. Great job, keeping the abs firm. Again, elbows nice and naturally bent. stability leg nice and firm. Let's go ahead and bend the heel to the butt without the knee pushing any pressure on my finger forward. You're gonna give it a slight push away from my finger backwards. Got the glute on and the hamstring on. Let's go ahead and rise that knee and that ankle to me. This way, good job. And you're gonna drive that knee up and across back to the belly button position, allowing that leg to relax once you get there. Okay, so let's just go through that motion one more time with less cueing. Knee up, knee out. Yeah, that's okay. Keep going, keep going. Good. From once you hit my hand, you're gonna elevate the foot up and rotate behind. Relax the leg once you get there. Okay, let's go ahead and go backwards once more. Heel to butt, tip off my finger, go backwards, up, across, and down. Great work, man. Great job. Okay, from there, we're gonna go into our cat camel. All right, so I'm gonna have you on all fours. Okay, let's go ahead and face this way so you can see the side profile. Excellent. So, for those of you who've done this before, okay, I don't mind the toes into the ground. Okay, if you're a beginner and new to this stuff, let's let your toes actually relax. What that does is just frees up more stuff for you to control, being in a less stuck position. Okay, from here, you're gonna be opposing side so I don't block the vision. I'm gonna have you compress your lower back, basically sticking your butt out is the cue I like to give clients that gives them the real rigid lower back. Now notice, when I said stick your butt out, his hips did not shift. They stayed right above their knees. Feet didn't move because they're nice into the ground. Okay, from this position here, I'm gonna ask him to drive his rib cage down to that compressed lower back. From this position, I'm gonna place my hand on his chest and ask him to leave my hand with his chest to get a tall chest. Excellent job there, Kev. From that position, we're keeping a nice tight neck, nice packed neck. So if I ask him to really lift his chest as high as he can, great job. His chin then comes up with a packed neck. There was no loss of tension here. This is our start position, okay? From here, we're remaining locked in the position we left off with, head being stiff, neck being packed, hands constantly pushing the floor away. From that position, we're gonna ask our lower back to kind of let go of that compression and elevate each vertebrae one by one, trying to control as much of that system as we can. Good. Good. Keep lifting, keep lifting, keep lifting, keep lifting. You're gonna get as much elevation out of these vertebrae as you possibly can without moving the head. There's gonna come a point where you cannot go any further in the spine. What I'm gonna ask you to do is keep tight in your arms and slowly drift the forehead down until your eyes are looking almost between your legs. Now, that may look like a rest position, but what he's actually doing is driving his head down and pushing his neck into my hand right here. All that does is create a long neck, basically loosening up all the tension throughout the lower back of the head into the top part of the neck. Okay? From here, we're gonna go ahead and get back to our start position to finish the rep. Keep the head where position it is. Think more of the neck, less than the head, or even so, think of your forehead and eyes not losing the position they're looking at. From there, arms are still doing their due diligence to stay in place. Knees don't move, feet don't move. Let's go ahead and track back in the spine, sticking your butt out without any hip motion. Keep going, Kev. Drive that belly button down to the ground. Your ribs are gonna come to the party. They're gonna shift back into that lower back. Shoulder blades are also gonna join that party. They're gonna shift back and track back. Good, and what that kind of leaves is almost like a little pool or a dam in that mid upper back right here. What we're gonna do to fill that void is push that chest away from the floor and lift that chin up to start position. Okay, holding it nice and stiff. As you can see, he's not moving very much forward, back, or laterally. All movement is occurring from the back of his head to the lower of his back. All right, great job, Kev. Let's go ahead and stand up. We'll get into our shoulders and get into our neck, and this will be the joint aspect of your warm-up. So, for the shoulder rotation, okay, very similar to your hip car. Making sure, actually, for both feet, they're gonna be foundations now. So heels are nice and strong. Let's get a nice little bounce in the knees. Good, again, that doesn't let our lower back stay overly compressed. Instead, it actually lets it sit pretty well. So, what I will do is we're gonna go through the right arm with motion. So I want your left arm to be nice and stiff to the side. Perfect, what that does is engages that left shoulder blade, that left lat, so that those muscles cannot incorporate themselves in the movement on the right side. So, now that we're preparing our foundation, I'm gonna have you go ahead and display your fingers with the thumb excited, actually facing towards the bone right there. Perfect. And I'm gonna place my hand behind his forearm. He's gonna constantly lead my hand as he elevates his hand all the way up to the ceiling. And at this point is where things can go really wrong or keep going in the right position. As your arm comes up, I do not want your bicep getting closer and closer to your ear. What that occurs is just causes a lot of tension and a lot of rotation already occurring down here. This is a shoulder movement. I want rotation to occur here, not here, okay? So let's go and make sure that that bicep is about 4 to 5 inches away from the ear. What this allows is your scapula to take on more of that motion instead of the trap and the opposing arm taking over that. From here, bicep is lined up right with the ear. I'm going to ask him to rotate his palm away from himself as he pulls his arm into the biggest circle he can create behind him until the back of his palm is facing his hip. Okay, from that position here, he's staying firm everywhere that we started. He's going to go ahead and leave my hand towards me. Get to a point where you're going to almost reach outward, start rotating through the palm, elbow, shoulder sits back onto the traps and ribs, and he tracks that pinky right down like a karate chop. Very well done, Kev. Let's go ahead and go through that motion without cueing just to give him another glimpse. Up you go, creating that barrier so your ear doesn't touch that bicep. Rotate that palm, keep pulling back. Great job, Kev. Let's stay a little stronger here so the head and the shoulder don't tilt. Go ahead and reach behind you now, off to the side. A lot of room there so the head doesn't have to deviate. Great job. Pinky comes down straight to the ground until we're at rest position. Awesome, okay? So since we're already at this position, we're going to take into the neck now. Very similar setup, if not the exact same. The only difference is the arms are not going to move anymore. They're actually going to facilitate stability. So you're going to make a fist, create an upside down V from the head all the way to the outside of the hands. From there, we're going to do just like we did with your ankle. We're going to allow that chin to dip down, rotate to the left, almost following my finger up. Up we go to the ceiling. Eyes are basically dictating all bit of this motion. Go across. Great job. Kept keeping stiffness in the arms, the abs, the inner legs. And you're going to go ahead and look to the toes until you're between your feet. From there, okay, I want you to take a nice inhale and a nice exhale before you start allowing stress and too much tension rising into the areas we're trying to move. Okay, the breathing is going to help you fluctuate through your midsection, create a great foundation, which allows freedom in the place we're trying to move. So let's go the opposite direction here, Kev. You're going to look at your right foot, across the way, up the wall, across the ceiling. As you can see, nothing is moving but his chin and his head. Across the left shoulder, down, looking at the floor, across your left foot, until you stop at the midsection. Great job, Kev. Awesome. Those are your controller articular rotation or CARs. Thanks, man. I'm already out of breath.